right, let's, without further ado, immediately dive into our first set of numbers. And this is the most important, viewers. The preferred chief ministerial candidate of Bihar. What do the people of Bihar feel 4 months from elections? And that's the interesting result that the Political Stock Exchange survey has thrown up. Tejaswi Yadav was 40.6% in February. In April, he came down to 35.5% and seen a marginal 1.5% increase in May. So this is what it looks like. Right under him, you have Nitish Kumar, the incumbent chief minister from the JDU. 18.4% February. It fell to 15.4% in April. May was 18.4%. So the popularity of the incumbent chief minister has actually fallen in April from February, but risen back to what the numbers were in February. Is 18.4% enough for an incumbent chief minister to fight an election in his name? That's the question mark there, where your opponent right now is standing at 36.9%. What's really interesting in all of this, viewers, is not so much as Chirag Paswan's number jumping from 3.7 to 5.8 and now 10.6. So Chirag Paswan's popularity has clearly seen a rise. But look at Prashant Kishore, the JSP, February 14.9%, April all the way to 17.2% and fallen just a bit in May to 16.4%. So Prashant Kishore, of course, making some amount of inroads to what he would claim is the youth of Bihar, the disgruntled, disillusioned youth of Bihar, or many would suggest now, maybe pulling in some vote where the forward castes are concerned. BJP wouldn't be very happy with their own deputy CM there. February 8.2, Samrat Chaudhary, April 12.5, and now down to 6.6. So that's a big fall, and the gainers seem to be very clearly Chirag Paswan, an ally of the NDA. I want to bring in immediately Amitabh Tiwari too. And Amitabh Tiwari, what these numbers seem to suggest. We also have Yashwant Deshmukh. Let's get in Yashwant Deshmukh, who's been tracking these numbers all the way from February. Yashwant Deshmukh, what do you make of these numbers of preferred chief ministerial candidate? Tejaswi Yadav was 40.6%, fell to 35, now gained about 1.5% more in terms of popularity, while Nitish Kumar, 18.4% and now still at 18.4%. Chirag Paswan, huge rise. Samrat Chaudhary, huge fall. Prashant Kishore actually doing well.
Well, numbers are stabilizing over a period of time, because BJP has refused to give or promote any of their leaders' name. We saw Samrat Chaudhary's name going up, and now it seems like that numbers, even for Nitish Kumar, I would say 18% is a tad low, even though he is like declared candidate of NDA. It certainly tells us that even though he is declared, but he doesn't carry the kind of popularity that used to be in 30s and 40s, or 10 years back. So something has changed, and that change is clearly visible. As you just mentioned, Prashant Kishore has been taking off and is still not crossing 20, but still, getting a sizable chunk. What I am not very sure whether this popularity is going to change in votes and whether those votes will change into seats. That I am not very sure of. But Chirag Paswan's numbers certainly have even surprised me, because I have been marking that even, before India-Pakistan issues happened, his numbers were growing slow and steady. And that is something which tells me that he is going to be there, because I haven't seen any reverse gear of sort as far as Chirag Paswan's numbers are concerned.
Well, you're right there, because very interesting, because what a tracker really does is it gets you an understanding on how the people of Bihar are perceiving their leaders. And while you can see a steady and surprising rise where Chirag Paswan is concerned, within a matter of months, 4 to 5 months, he's jumped from a 3.7% to a 10.6%. So a lot of people now are looking at him breaking the mold of just being a Dalit leader and possibly being a youth, leader as well. And the dip in Samrat Chaudhary also interesting. I want to bring in Amitabh Tiwari and Dr. Manisha Priyan into this, because because Amitabh Tiwari, before we go across to Manisha Priyan, it's interesting because two big developments could add to it. Number one, of course, has been Operation Sindoor, and that seems to suggest in terms of the NDA faces doing better. Strangely, not Samrat Chaudhary though, but the allies or the government still doing better. But Nitish Kumar numbers stabilizing, rising from what at least it was in April, could also delve a little deeper into the caste census that the government announced.
So see, essentially, if you see, and despite Operation Sindoor, I would say the combined rating of the NDA leaders has not moved much. It used to be around 34% in April, and it is currently at 35%, still lagging Tejaswi. The dip in Tejaswi is largely pocketed by Nitish Kumar, you can say, and to some extent by Prashant Kishore if we compare with
Or
previous.
Chirag Paswan.
Or Chirag Paswan is largely benefiting, I think, from the Samrat Chaudhary factor. Essentially, with NDA now sort of clearly indicating that the election would be contested under Nitish Kumar, his ratings seem to have jumped back to the Feb levels. That has led to a dip in Samrat Chaudhary's prospects, as Yashwant was saying, and we see a dip of 6.5%, leading to an increase of 6.5% for, or rather 4.5% for Chirag, because he has now decided to contest, and is also now trying to be projected as the Dalit and the youth face of NDA to take on Tejaswi. What is also interesting is that if you compare with 2020, what is worrying for Tejaswi Yadav, despite him remaining at number one, is that in 2020, if I recall, both Tejaswi and Nitish Kumar were at 37-38% levels. So the dip in Nitish Kumar's popularity ratings has not led to an increase of popularity for Tejaswi. It has been largely pocketed either by Prashant Kishore or by other leaders of the NDA. And the last point which I wish to make is that, of course, the vote share numbers are not there at this point of time, but the MGB is lacking a combined sort of a leadership, whereas NDA has a combined leadership of various castes and communities. Nitish Kumar chipping in with the Kurmi and the EBC Mahadalit, Chirag Paswan with Paswan's youth, and Samrat Chaudhary with the Koiri votes. Whereas Tejaswi Yadav is or MGB is largely restricted to Tejaswi Yadav with MY
because the other numbers of any other, we were looking at the Congress and the other numbers of the Gathbandhan, and they don't really seem to be registering. So you're very, you're right there, other than Tejaswi, who's really doing well. But Manisha Prem, what could be the reason for these numbers, as per you? So, how would you read the data?
If you read the political sociology of these numbers, it's very, very interesting to see that Samrat Chaudhary, who's a Kushwaha leader who was pitched by the BJP on an anti-Nitish pitch. Remember, Nitish Kumar also represents the powerful OBC Kurmi community. Its icon today is Sardar Patel, surprisingly. That vote should have gone to a Gujarat-led leadership of the BJP. But the BJP tried to counter that by the Kushwaha leadership invested in Samrat Chaudhary. You can see that in the Kurmi-Kushwaha battle, it's still the Kurmis who seem to be very, very intact. Therefore, Samrat Chaudhary will only consolidate some OBC votes for the BJP. He's not emerging over time as a charismatic leader for the BJP. What this board entirely tells you that there is a space in Bihar as a whole in general for a charismatic youth leadership. And if you look across political parties, Tejaswi Yadav more or less remains intact from 40 to 37, is not such a great dip. You can see Prashant Kishore going up, but what you can really see is Chirag Paswan going up, which tells you that by promoting a youth icon figure, the BJP will tend to gain. Now, what does Chirag Paswan's face and his political party's lineage get you? Remember, the Prime Minister's played that political card, and it's a gamble. Till now, the BJP was an upper caste party, an anti-Lalu party. It was also believed that they wouldn't ultimately side with the reservation walas. But today, the BJP's crossed over, given a Bharat Ratna to Karpuri Thakur, and said we will do caste census.
Right.
So the BJP is in a complete somersault. Getting Chirag Paswan has many advantages, remember, to be able to blunt this powerful caste image that the Prime Minister himself is propelling. So it's a very good gamesmanship, multiple games equilibrium. Difficult to do more justice on this analysis, but more later. I'm very excited about these possibilities.
I want to bring in quickly Mr. Kumar to weigh in on how he would decipher the numbers that he sees. And what is most surprising, I would reckon all four of you agree, it's the rise, even if though it's just about 10.6%, but coming in at 3.6 to 3.7 to 10.6 is a sizable jump, Mr. Kumar, for Chirag Paswan.
Yes, if we are looking at these numbers standalone, it is a sizable jump. But I have some unease about these numbers because yes, Tejaswi stands way ahead of Nitish Kumar. But do I get a sense that Nitish Kumar is so unpopular that Tejaswi's popularity is double than Nitish Kumar's popularity? My own sense is that yes, Tejaswi might lead the race, but the kind of lead he is establishing in the survey, I have a little unease about that. Prashant Kishore, yes, you can see is stabilizing, but the question which other panelist was asking whether this will convert into vote share or not, we don't know. I have serious doubt about that. But yes, if you do a survey much before elections, and these surveys are done almost 6 months before election, you do get surprising results. Surprising means people who are already campaigning, and campaigning very hard, like Prashant Kishore. So they tend to get attraction, which is getting reflected in the survey. But as you come close to the day of election,
you think he's going to lose this team? But interesting. But Yashwant Deshmukh, I want to get you into what Mr. Kumar said. Why do you see such a huge jump of over 20%, nearly 20% between Tejaswi Yadav and Nitish Kumar? Is it because Tejaswi Yadav is seen as, the entire monolith of the Gathbandhan, where it is not fragmented, while in the others you can see that fragmentation?
Well, Preeti, Sanjay Bhai is right. I mean, if we ask this question as a two-horse race question, giving only the option of Tejaswi and Nitish Kumar, then obviously all the NDA numbers will rally behind, Nitish Kumar. And that's where the numbers of Nitish Kumar probably will supersede or will be at par with, if not more than Tejaswi Yadav. So he is right. He is absolutely right. And the reason why Samrat Chaudhary's numbers have gone down is also because of the fact that BJP actually took a lot of pains to say that, nobody from our side is a face and it is only face of Nitish Kumar. So that has kind of, and please remember, last time the votes that Chirag Paswan polled were mostly the angry BJP votes, which did not wanted to vote for JDU candidates. So, and he had given the candidates precisely against the JDU candidate, not against the BJP candidate.
True.
So, the fact that the BJP decided that, okay, we do not want to have any horse directly from the BJP and supported Nitish. So, some of that BJP voter also rallied behind Chirag Paswan. At one point of time, before the India-Pakistan thing happened, actually, Chirag in our tracker almost touched 14%. And that was very surprising for me because earlier, Avita pointed out, on Aaj Tak that the maximum that LJP has ever touched is roughly about 12% in 2005 elections under Ram Vilas Paswan. So they have that kind of traction about 10 to 12%.
Right.
But right now, I believe that it is the BJP's tailwind which is kind of giving that kind of...
before we're going to go into the next set of data, one second, we just want to, before we file out of this, because it's important sometime to understand the data that we're putting out. And as all four of our experts just laid it out for you, when you look at it, it might look at this massive increase for Tejaswi Yadav. But Tejaswi Yadav for the Mahagathbandhan, if you seem to suggest, is one monolith figure where, the likes of Congress really haven't registered anything noteworthy for us to even put it on the board. The others that you see is a clear division where the NDA is concerned. So it was only, like Yashwant pointed out, a two-horse race between Tejaswi Yadav and Nitish Kumar. Possibly, you would have a Nitish Kumar fare better than a Tejaswi. So